All right, so we're going to talk about um, difference and sum of cubes. So over here, if you want to pause the video, I gave I gave you guys this formula in class, but if you want to pause this and write this down, I'm not going to go into explaining how it's set up. This is just the rule that you need to remember. So we see right here we have the sum, okay? That's because it's adding, and then you have the difference, okay? And this is why we call it sum and difference of cubes, okay? I'm writing with my mouse again, so this is going to take a minute. So we have our sum and our difference. So we're going to use these formulas. If you see a perfect cube, then you are going to use these formulas. So I actually want to write out our perfect cubes real quick. If I cube 1, I get 1. If I cube 2, I get 8. If I cube 3, that's 27. So any of these numbers on the right side, that we're looking for those in our problems. Then we get a 4. 4 cubed. Well, if you have your calculator, you can just do 4 times 4 times 4. So that's 64. Okay. And that's how you're finding all these. So 5 cubed is 125. And usually we don't go too high with these values to super high numbers. But those are what you need to keep in mind as you're working questions. So we're going to go up here to these two examples. We see that we have perfect cubes on both sides, and that's what we needed here. Okay. Now you'll notice we have this term a and this term b that we need to put here. Now a is not x cubed. It's actually, so a is going to be equal to um, this term. It's the cube root of it. So it's the cube root of x cubed. Well, that's just x. Okay. Then if I want to find b, it's the same thing as the cube root of 27, which is over here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And to take the cube root, you can use a calculator for this. I have a Desmos calculator. I'm going to put a 3 there, and we're going to put the 27 here. I'm going to hit enter, and I get a 3. So that's the cube root of this one. And we could have gone back down here, looked at our chart. 3 cubed is 27, so we knew that. Okay. Now, how do I write this out? Well, this is a difference of cubes, so I'm going to be using this bottom one here. We're going to write out a plus b. So a we said was x, so x plus 3. That sign, if you're adding, it's always a plus there. Then it's going to be a squared. Well, what's a? It's x, so I'm just going to square it. Then you have the opposite sign. I've got this messed up here. We need to fix this. This should be a minus, the same sign, and this is a plus. Okay, so let me go back over here. If you need to rewrite that, just make that fix on your sheet, then do that. Okay. So this should be a opposite sign, so plus, then we have AB. So A times B, here's A, here's B. When I multiply them, I actually get 3x. And then lastly, we need B squared, which is, here's B, I'm going to square that, we get a 9. Okay, that is the answer to this question here. Now, we're going to do the exact same thing, and we already know what A and B are in this case. A is equal to x, B is equal to 3. So we're going to write this up. So again, this is our answer for that one. So over here, it's going to be equal to, well, I want a plus b. I use the same sign. So if we go back over here, we're following sum of cubes now. So a plus b, that's going to be um, a is x plus b is 3. Then I do my opposite sign. It's going to be a squared, which a is x, so it's x squared. Then I'm going to do the opposite sign here, and this is going to be a times b, so it's 3x. And then I have b squared, so that's, and it's always adding here, so it's b squared, which is 9 again, okay? And that's how you would answer these questions. Now I want to do one more example here, and then I'm going to work one inside of the study guide I gave you guys. So here's the question. It's going to be 27 minus 8y cubed, okay? So again, I'm recognizing that everything in here on both expressions, so on this left part and this right part, they all are cubes. And you can see the numbers are here, 8 and 27, and then I have a power of 3. So I'm going to start, I've got to solve for what is a? Well, a is cube root of this 27, which we know that from our last question is 3. Then I want to find what is b. Well, b is going to be cube root of all of this, so it's 8y cubed. Okay, so this is going to become, when I do the cube root, let's do the number first. What's the cube root of 8? You can use your calculator. You can look at this little, I have this little chart here, but on the test you'll probably want to use a calculator. So we get a 2. And then cube root of y, well, you just divide away those powers there. So this is just a y right here. So these are my terms. So when we write this out, we want a, okay, which is 3. And the sign will be the same for difference because it's a minus. So minus b, which is going to be 2y. Okay. Then I'm going to square the a, so I get a 9 here. It's going to have opposite sign, the plus sign here. Then I need a times b right here. So a is 3, b is 2y. So this actually gets me, I'll write it like this, 3 times 2y. And then last, I need b squared. So b squared is this. So I need to square this whole term. So what is b squared? Well, that's equal to, well, I'm going to square this term. So it should be 2y squared, which equals 2 squared is 4. Okay, y squared, y to the second power is y squared. So that's going to go here at the very last part of this, and this is always a plus sign. So this is 4y squared. Now I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. 3 times 2, I can go ahead and do that. So let me change that here to a 6, and that's going to be y. So this is actually my answer to this one. All right. Now the last example I'm going to work is going to be from the study guide. We're going to be doing, this is on page, this is 7, part F. We're going to be doing, I'll do this question here. Okay. So this is A and this is B. Okay. So we're going to, this whole thing, this is A cubed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find A. So A is equal to the cube root of 216 x cubed. So the first thing I want to do is I want to check to see what the cube root of 216 is because I didn't write that down. So we need to grab this calculator, we'll do this, cube root, and put in the 216, and we'll see what we get. It's a 6. So I know my number is going to be 6, and then the variable is actually going to be x. So that's A. Okay? That's what A is. Let me fix this. All right, and now we want to find B. Let me rewrite that. So this is 6 and then x. Let's find B. B is going to be the cube root of this one here. So that's 125 y to the third. Alrighty. And so we take the cube root of all of this. We know what 125 is. I put that on the list here. So that's 5. That's the cube root of it. So we know that the number will be 5. So B is 5. And then y to the third power, we're taking the cube root of that, so it's just a y. So now we're ready to write this up in our form. So this is going to be, this is sums. So sum. So this is going to be, I'm just going to write out the form. You have the same sign, you have the square, and you have the opposite sign. You have a times b, and then you have that one. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to do a plus b, so that's 6x plus 5y. All right. I get a squared, so I'm taking this and I'm squaring it. So I know that the number is 36. X to the second power is x squared. Then I'm going to do a times b. Well, let's go ahead and multiply these right here. It's 6x times 5y. Well, let's multiply the numbers and we get, so it's minus 30. And then we have the variables x and y. Well, they don't actually multiply and add power, so it's x, y. And then the last one is b squared. So I'm going to take this term and I'm going to square it, which is always an addition sign. It's 25y squared. So that is the answer to this question right here.